Hi guys, it's Rod from Vacuum Warehouse. We're here today to talk to you about central vacuums and give you some information and tips, things that you could use when you go out to buy a central vacuum. And we'd also wanted to introduce you to Orbit brand of central vacuums. It's our favorite, one of our most favorite. We love selling this thing. We use it ourselves. We've been using these guys for a very, very long time, and I'll tell you more information about them. Before I do that, though, I want to get a real quick educational session in there to tell you about central vacuums. Now, there's different types of motors that are used in central vacs, and you know what? Central vacs are simple machines. All you need is a good motor. The different types of motors are, one kind is what we call a flow-through motor. Now you'll notice that this motor itself, the reason it's called a flow-through motor is because it doesn't have a fan. So the motor needs to create suction and cool itself down at the same time, which does reduce the life of the motor. These motors are usually smaller, plastic body, and you know what? About 90 to 95% of the machines out there in the market right now are using this motor because it's cheaper. You'd never know, obviously, because you'd never open the central vac machine up to find out what kind of motor you have in there. But that's one of the things you need to keep in mind, whether you're getting a flow-through motor or what we call a bypass motor. Now, these motors have been used in central vacuums for a very, very long time. The biggest characteristics of this motor is that it has its own fan. Now, you'd notice the motor is a lot bigger, it's a lot more substantial, but what happens is the airflow with this type of a motor is that the suction is created through here, and this horn is what lets the suction out through the exhaust on the side of the central vac machine. Now, the way the motor cools itself is it's got its own fan. This is the kind of motor that would last a long, long time. So if you see central vacuum machines, older ones even, that have lasted 20, 25 years, and that's because they're using this particular motor. Now, one of the companies that is mostly known, they're very reputable for this type of a motor, is called Lam Ametek. They're an American company. They've been making motors for central vacuums for over 100 years. And basically, this type of a motor from Lam Ametek is the Cadillac of motors when it comes to central vacuum machines. Now, the reason we like Orbit, we go back to this, is because these guys are actually one of the only manufacturers that still use, on every single machine, they use motors, bypass motors from Lam Ametek. Now, the body itself is this is a Canadian company. Everything here is made in Canada except for the motor. Very simple construction, nothing funny on the machine itself, nothing basically to go wrong. You could use it as a bagged or a bagless model. My suggestion is, trust me, you want to use any type of a vacuum with a bag. Now, it's very easy to take this off. The bag comes out real easy and you can dispose of it. You just don't want all that garbage to go into that bucket. It's a hassle when you're trying to empty this out, in the cold weather, with the dust coming back into your face the whole time. So, very simple machine. There is a second diaphragm filter, or what we call a self-cleaning filter, up here as well, that makes sure no dust or anything gets into the motor. Now, another thing you want to keep in mind when you start looking at central vacs, you get something called air watts, and every company advertises some kind of an air watt. Be careful. What you want to use as measures are water lift and speed. Air watts are supposed to be a combination of the water lift and speed of the motor. However, they're not measured throughout the pipes. They're only measured at the motor. So whatever air watt number you see is the performance of the motor at the motor, not taking into consideration all the piping and a 30-foot hose in the house. Therefore, make sure you look at the numbers including water lift, which is considered in inches, and CFM, which is the speed of the motor. Those two numbers are a lot better, more accurate numbers for you to look at. These guys do great. They do anything from apartments all the way up to 15,000 square foot homes or commercial areas. Again, very well made. We love selling these. They have warranties from 7 years to 10 years. If you have any questions, again, give us a call, 1-877-220-5656, or chat with us online. Thank you.